This is TOS Television, your digital first Pan-African news network. I am Merciful Ajinamo, and this is Africa Now. 3 foreigners, 2 Spanish citizens, and an Irish national and a local are missing after an anti-poaching patrol was ambushed in eastern Burkina Faso on Monday, local security sources said. The group was made up of soldiers, forest rangers, and foreign reporters. The attackers struck during the day on a road leading to the vast forested reserve of Palma. A local official said 3 others were also wounded. The attackers were said to have used 2 pickup vehicles and a dozen motorbikes. Burkina Faso, a landlocked country like much of West Africa's Sahel region, has been battling a deepening Islamist insurgency for years, despite help from France and the United Nations forces. Uncharged new military rulers have named Albert Pahimi Padake, a civilian politician who was runner-up in the Sahel country's April 11 presidential election, as Prime Minister of a transitional government on Monday, a week after President Idris Déby's battlefield death. Opposition leaders quickly dismissed the appointment. Padake served as Prime Minister from 2016 to 2018 and was seen as an ally of late Déby, despite running against him several times. The United States Department said the naming of a civilian prime minister is potentially a positive first step in restoring civilian governance, adding that Washington is continuing to closely monitor the situation. Despite Padake's appointment, the council is still likely to be the ultimate authority. Some 1,300 Burundian prisoners on Monday were freed at the beginning of a presidential pardon, which aims to free up overcrowded jails. A total of 5,255 inmates, 40% of Burundi's prison population, will be released in the coming weeks. 3,000 will be immediately released, and another 2,000 will have their sentences caught. Speaking at the ceremony in Bujumbura prison, President Evariste Ndayishimiye addressed the 1,000 inmates who had been freed, said that what crippled the economy is the crimes and offenses committed that were not sanctioned by the state and that left the impression that committing crime was a sign of bravery. He warned the detainees against a relapse. French energy giant Total has suspended its $20 billion liquefied natural gas project operations at a site in Mozambique, weeks after an escalation of violence in the area by Islamic militants in nearby Palma town. The company said that it was withdrawing its entire staff because of the revolving security situation. In a statement, Total said the suspension of operations is the only way to best protect the project's interest until work can resume. It further stated that project finance remains in effect, and Mozambique LNG have agreed with lenders to temporarily pause the debt drawdown. Total's $20 billion gas liquefaction plant is the largest foreign investment in Africa. The United Nations Security Council is warning that the widening political, military, and ethnic divisions in South Sudan are leading to multiple violent incidents between the main signatories to last year's ceasefire, the possibility of renewed war, and nearly 100,000 people facing famine-like conditions. In an 81-page report, the experts say that the slow pace of reforms by President Salva Kiir's government and more than a year of political dispute and disagreement over how to implement the February 2020 ceasefire and a 2018 peace agreement have led to frayed relations between Kiir and First Vice President Sheikh Mahar. Discontent within Kiir's Sudan People's Liberation Movement and his power base in the Dikna ethnic group over his handling of transition has led to calls for new leadership, the panel of experts said in the report to the UN Security Council. The expert warned that as a result of missed deadlines and political gridlock on key issues in the National Unity Government Agreement, the stability of South Sudan has remained at risk. This is your digital first Pan-African news network, TOS Television, and you're watching Africa Now. More stories after the break. Do stay. Thanks for staying. United States Secretary of State Antony Blinken on Monday, in a phone call with Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed, urged him to address what he described as an impending humanitarian disaster and for troops from Eritrea involved in the Tigray conflict to be withdrawn immediately in full and in verifiable manner, according to a statement. The statement by U.S. State Department spokesman Ned Prince said, Blinken said Eritrean forces and Amhara regional forces in the Tigray region are contributing to the growing humanitarian disaster and committing human rights abuses. The Secretary also stressed the need for all parties to the conflict to end hostilities immediately, Price said. Blinken also expressed concern in the call about the humanitarian and human rights crisis in Ethiopia, including the growing risk of famine in the Tigray region, Price said. Still on Anthony Blinken, he is set to make his first visit to Africa virtually, where he will meet with the President of Nigeria and Kenya on Tuesday. The tour will also include a meeting with African youth from across the continent. The State Department in a statement said Blinken will then meet with Nigerian President Muhammadu Buhari and Foreign Minister Geoffrey Onyema to reiterate the value of our bilateral relationships and discuss issues of shared importance.
The Secretary will open his virtual visit at a roundtable discussion with dynamic alumni of the Young African Leaders Initiative, or YALI, America's. Secretary Blinken's trip is another important step in the Biden-Harris administration's re-engagement with Africa. The Secretary's virtual visit follows President Biden's video message to the leaders and people of Africa on the eve of the African Union Summit and other important outreach in recent weeks. Even though the COVID-19 pandemic has made it more challenging, engaging directly opens a new and important chapter in relations between the United States and the countries of Africa. We are committed to working with Africans to overcome the COVID-19 pandemic, promote trade and investment, strengthen security, tackle the climate crisis, and advance democracy, human rights, and the rule of law.
1.7 million AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine doses belonging to the Democratic Republic of Congo will be reallocated to other African countries for use before they expire, a UNICEF representative said on Monday. Congo received the doses from the COVAX vaccine sharing facility on March 2nd, but delayed the rollout after several European countries suspended the use of the AstraZeneca shot in response to reports of rare blood clots. Some 1.3 million of its remaining doses will now be sent to countries including Ghana, Senegal, and Togo to ensure that they are used before their June 24th expiry date. In business, the amount of foreign exchange reserves held by the Central Bank of Kenya rose to $7.73 billion for the third consecutive week. The reserves have grown by $384 million since the start of April. According to the central bank, the reserves are sufficient to cover 4.75 months of import, above the statutory requirement of at least 4 months of import cover and above the EAC requirement of at least 4.5 months of import cover. In the past week, the shilling weakened against major international and regional currencies, largely due to increased demand for the US dollar by importers and large corporations. And that is Africa Now. For more updates, do visit our website at www.tostvnetwork.com. Do also follow and like our social media handles on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And remember to subscribe on YouTube. Do stay with us and enjoy more programs on TOS Television Network. I am Merciful Ajinamo. Thank you for watching.